guys! So today we're going to be looking at the third video in our thoughts series and looking at partnering with God and his perspective in all areas of our lives. So the first video was on how we have control over our thoughts. So how we can partner with either God's perspective or the enemy's perspective, and how we don't need to accept every thought that comes into our mind. And the second video was looking at guarding our heart and seeing, like, you know, when we do believe a thought, it actually affects every area of our lives. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything flows from it. That's the verse in Proverbs 4:23. And today I wanted to talk about how knowing God helps us partner with him in every area of our lives. In the Bible, when we know something or someone knows someone, it basically means intimacy. It basically means sex. And it's first shown in Genesis 4:1. So in the NIV it says, Adam made love to his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. So she became pregnant. They've had an act of intimacy and it birthed something. In the NLT, now Adam had sexual relations with his wife Eve. She became pregnant. When she gave birth to Cain, she said, with the Lord's help, I have produced a man. Intimacy births something. That's the principle here. And even in the ESV version, now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord. So you can see that knew and intimacy, the word in Hebrew is da. So to know something is to be intimate with them. To see someone, you know, in their nakedness is a real act of intimacy. To see someone for who they really are, their nakedness, without any kind of mask or facade, you know. That's a whole other sermon in itself. But to know something is to know it intimately. We see the principle of intimacy births something. It births relationship and it births life. So if we then go to Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your paths straight. And if we look at the word acknowledge, is the exact same word, da, to know. So it says trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. So we've spoken about this in our first video. If we don't allow our circumstances to dictate how we feel and what we believe. In verse 3 in Proverbs, it says, do not lean on your own understanding. Do not lean on what you know, your limited perspective and the things that you can see. Do not lean on the circumstances around you to tell you, you know, what you should believe and what you should think and how you should feel right now. But trust in the Lord with all your heart. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. In all your ways, know him. Be intimate with him. Become one with him, and he will make your paths straight. And so, you know, I've spoken in another video about idolatry and how God has so many different facets to him. He has so many different names, you know, provision, safety, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, all-seeing, El Roy, you know, your defender, safe place, rest. All of these different names, there are so many different names. We can choose to know God in all of these different ways. In all your ways, know him. That's what it says in verse 6 in Proverbs 3. In all your ways, know him. In all the different areas of your life, know him as Lord. Know who he is. Know the authority that he has. Know that he is in control. You know, in every area of your life. In your dark place, he is the light. In your place of distress, he is your safety and your refuge and your peace. Know him. Become one with him. And that births life. It births his perspective. Your thoughts are the offspring of that. When you know God as Lord and you know him, even when you know his heart as good, when you know him to be good and to be for you, who can be against you if God is for you? When we know who God is, it births his reality, his thoughts in our mind. His perspective, and it's life-giving. And it says, he will make your paths straight. You can walk along them. There is actually a shift in the things that you see, in the way that you walk, in the things that are in front of you, when you have God's perspective. And so it really relates to our previous video when it says, guard your heart, for all things flow from it. God is now saying, in all things, trust me. And from that, it births new perspective, and it affects every area of your life. This mindset is not in our own strength. This trying to partner with God's perspective is not in our own strength. It comes out of intimacy. It comes out of really knowing God and becoming one with him, and knowing his heart and knowing who he is. Out of that, every area of our life changes. The paths become straight. Things change. Things change when we stand and we are in one with God. We are in this union with him. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say today. I pray that we will not only in our own strength, try and reject and rebuke any lies in our mind, but also know that it comes from a place of intimacy. It comes from a place of becoming one with God. Bye, guys.